What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jeremy Wormy coming at you with another video. And when did when did Black Adam come out? Let me look that up real quick. I should have done that before I made this video, but I just uh, last year, a couple months ago, really. But Black Adam was a movie that happened, and in that movie, we had in a post-credit scene, we had the return of Henry Cavill, a man who honestly embodied Superman in a proper way. Like in real life, he is kind of Superman without the superpowers. He is Clark Kent. He is a very kind individual. And because of that, we had him going around, well, how do we, he was going around saying, "Hey, I'm back as Superman." Henry Cavill addresses fans in new video, officially announces his return as Superman following a highly anticipated cameo in Black Adam. Yes, he did this. Remember, put out this video. He did a red carpet interview even where he's talking about how the next Superman's going to be hopeful. It's going to be unifying. He was told by the studio to go out and do this. He was told that he is Superman. And before somebody says there was no contract, verbal contracts are legally enforceable, actually. Always remember that. Verbal contracts are legally enforceable. That's not legal advice, but that's a fact. Sorry. Hit my mic. Well, after that, we had he was fired in the dumbest move ever by basically by James Gunn. Let's be real. And the dumbest move by James Gunn, by Peter Safran, by WB, by David Zaslav, they decided to fire the man that basically embodied Henry Cavill. And why was that? Why did they do that? They said he's too old. They want a younger Superman. They want a Superman to fit that 10-year timeline, that 10-year plan. So we got rid of him. We wanted a younger one, but it's not going to be an origin story. Trust me, it's not going to be an origin story. It's going to be something else. They have this whole plan set up. We're going to do this. We're going to do this right. We then had James Gunn saying he didn't fire Henry Cavill. He came out. He was never hired. So you can't fire somebody who wasn't hired, who wasn't cast. Again, this goes to the studio said, do this. The studio said, do that. The studio was involved. James Gunn was a part of this at the time. James Gunn was in talks with Henry Cavill. James Gunn and Peter Safran were discussing this alongside Henry Cavill. Now, you don't need pen to paper to have a contract. Verbal contracts exist. That's besides the point. He was set to be Superman again. Fans were excited when he was. Fans were very critical of James Gunn and Peter Safran when they decided not to make him Superman. And rightfully so. Again, this is a man who fans love. Fans adore Henry Cavill Superman. And this was the dumbest move ever. And trying to hide behind we just never hired him doesn't work when you had the studio actually come out and say, yes, you are him. You have him come out and say, yes, I'm in talks with you guys. We're doing this. This is a plan. No, we never hired him. Well, now we got this. James Gunn says he was hired for Superman Legacy 6 months ago, raising Cavill questions. So, hold up. Before you were given the reins to the DCU, before you were given the reins of DC, you were already hired to make a Superman movie. You were already hired to do this. And you then would have been in talks with Henry Cavill long prior to this. To you saying he just wasn't hired. No, you were. This now looks like you have a vendetta against Henry Cavill because, you read this. Gunn posted an Instagram story saying that the Superman Legacy was in development before he and Peter Safran took over as DCU studio heads. This led a fan to ask whether he means Superman Legacy as a wholly separate project, or Henry Cavill's Man of Steel 2, which they changed to Superman Legacy and didn't bring Cavill back. Gunn went to clarify that no, really, Superman Legacy always existed as a separate project. He was hired to write it 6 months ago, well before he was given control over the whole of the DCU. This is news. This is news. Like this is insane. So let's take this back a little bit. You're mean to tell me this is also old regime criticism. Old regime planned not only to have Superman Legacy or whatever James Gunn was cooking up, they also wanted Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman. They also wanted that because Peter Safran did not take over 6 months ago, I believe. I don't think he was in charge yet. I think this was still old regime by the time that this was all going on. So you mean to tell me you guys wanted this many Superman? You had Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman. You had all black Superman. You had all these other characters you wanted to do. Now you also had James Gunn doing a Superman while teasing Henry Cavill. But no, you never planned on Henry Cavill. You never hired Henry Cavill. Ignore the fact that you scroll down here. Cameo Black. This brings up the cameo in Black Adam, which was pushed by The Rock. And Cavill himself said the studio told him to announce his return as Superman back when he reappeared in the role. Something he said when he talked about meeting with Gunn and Safran to reveal that wasn't happened after all. That wasn't happened after all? Wasn't happening after all. So you were there. You were a part of this. The studio wanted you a part of this. The studio, everybody. He was Superman. So now you're telling us that you also played him as well. You played him as well, James Gunn. This is criticisms on you. So was he hired? I think he was. I think James Gunn just has this vendetta against Henry Cavill for some unknown reason. Well, why is Henry Cavill this most hated man? Yeah, this comment's from James Gunn a while back, where he says, we want actors that are easy to work with. Slide at James. Was that a slide at Henry Cavill? Probably, because there's rumors that Henry Cavill's hard to work with because he holds people's feet to the fire. He knows the source material. He reads the source material. He knows how these characters are supposed to interact and stuff. So do you want that? Do you want actual characters, or are you doing your own thing, James Gunn? This is criticisms on you. I hope the DCU is good. I have hopes for it. I hope my fear, my little level of caution going in is not needed. I don't want that. But when I see this, when we go back to this, Henry Cavill Superman, Henry Cavill not Superman, because you wanted a younger person. Henry Cavill was never hired, even over here they mentioned the studio told him to do it while you were working at the studio, while you were a part of the studio, while you were creating your own Superman movie before you were even in charge. So he was going to be Superman. At all signs pointed to he was going to be Superman, but you've decided to come out and diss him for some reason. You played him along as well, along with The Rock. The studio played Henry Cavill. Everybody played Henry Cavill and wanted to like humiliate him or something. Why? This is a kind man. This is a good man. This is geek prime. This is fan favorite person. But hey, maybe this goes to James Gunn's whole DCU, where nothing makes sense really. The decisions that are being made, the characters that are being chosen, the fact that I was wrong. It's a Batman movie. I thought it was a TV show, but the Batman movie already has Damian Wayne. He's an older Batman, while in comparison, his kind of opposite version in the hero sense Superman is going to be a much younger than him, even though they're supposed to be relatively the same age, maybe a few years difference here or there. Well, the what's going on? It kind of looks like you just hate Henry Cavill. But hey, what's to be expected at this point? I don't know what's being cooked up behind the doors of DCU, because you also have to remember, like, Creature Commandos, Waller, the room, they say, hey, those were in production prior to James Gunn taking over DCU. This was in production prior to James Gunn taking over DCU. So James Gunn has control over those. He had control over this, so he's been working on this a whole lot longer than what people have been saying. That's why this movie is gonna come out in 2025 versus before. Like, he's been working on this for months now. Yet we don't have a casting yet. We need to be getting casting soon. Who's gonna be the new Superman? God, please don't make it the kid from Dune. Please don't make it the kid from Dune. All that being said, though, let me get your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it out with your friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.